Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another round of Master Phil in your corner with your host, Master Phil.
All right. Well, it's Master Phil here. Master Phil in your corner with my partner in crime, as always, Dougie Fresh Friedman. We also have B-roll in the room, and the mascot Lulu is here today at my feet, unseen right now. Yeah, guys, before we get rocking and rolling, just to let you know, we have scheduled a date for the Bodybuild Method Level 2 certification. And if it all works out, it's going to carry 0.8 ACE credits for your continuing education. That's going to be on May 2nd, Sunday, and we're going to do it at the Odyssey Athletic Club. But in addition to that, we're going to be live streaming the event, so you can watch it anywhere in the world. And then after that, of course, it will be recorded, but it may take some time for editing, right?
Yes. Well, it'll be live. The live version, unedited, will be up.
Oh, okay.
But then we'll tighten it up for when people want to buy the DVD.
Right. Condense it down into the
you don't have to see the water breaks.
Yeah, you don't have to see that and you're making endless corrections. And in addition to that, you say, well, gosh, how do I get involved and how am I approved to take a level 2? Well, you can take the level 1, which is available online right now, and that carries your personal training credits as well. And if you're an RKC level 1 or above, RKC level 1 or 2, or SFG level 1 or 2, I know the programs, I know the certifications, they're great, and you're definitely qualified to take the level 2 Bodybuild Method course without having to take the level 1. So, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah. So, the topic that we're going to hit on today, and I can't see a more apt time to discuss this, but it's exercise and mental health. It's something that's actually been near and dear to my heart for quite some time, not just because of my vocation, but because of personal situations that occurred. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but about 13 years ago, my oldest daughter was put on these antidepressants, and another night of doors, the whole thing. She's extremely bright and thinks a lot. As a matter of fact, she's been on the podcast before, and she's doing her doctorate in microbiology. So, pretty smart.
Yeah.
Pretty smart cookie.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes when people are super uber intelligent, they think too deeply. I've never really been accused of that. So like I always say, don't ever underestimate the depth of my shallowness. But so I took this to heart, and I was against it, very much against it, because of what I knew. And then I really started educating myself on this. And, the last 13, 14 years, I learned a ton about this subject. And it's something that needs to be addressed. And I have not seen too many people address this. Anxiety, depression. How do we treat these? It just seems every time you go to the doctor, you go up and they have you fill out this form, and it asks you, are you depressed? You feel this, you feel that. And many people have told me that have come back. I mean, I always mark off no, because I'll just handle it myself. And many people have come to me, my personal clients, people that train with me, and they said that, the doctor wanted to know how I was feeling and if I wanted to be on an antidepressants. So people are pushing these things. I mean, if you look at it, we'll show some I can speak. We'll show some statistics later on in this presentation. As I'm actually, I was asked to put something together about exercise and anxiety and depression for Bergen Community College. So I'll be presenting this next Friday I'll be doing 2 segments, and our mental health
Awareness Week.
Mm-hmm.
So, everyone, hey, how you doing? Right? How you doing? We're going to know good old Joey from Friends, right? How you doing? Everyone wants to know how you doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they ask you, and so how are you doing? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we're looking at this, that, you want to consider that anxiety and depression have a grip on many people in the U.S. today.
Mm-hmm.
So you look at it like, I'm depressed. How many people are downtrodden? We're going to get into the effects that COVID has had because it's astronomical, but it's made it a lot worse. Initially, I was pinged to do this presentation a year ago, and then it got shelved because of COVID. Yeah. So you want to look at like how many people are affected. So basically, you're looking at a stat of 1 in 5 Americans experience some type of mental illness yearly. Most of them don't develop into disorders, but and many issues pass, with proper treatment, and sometimes you just get over it. But we want to look at how it's being treated, how to prevent some of these, and how to avoid a lot of it. So if you look at anxiety disorders, are the most common mental illness in the U.S. They're affecting 40 million adults in the United States, age of 18 and older. So that's 18.1% of the population every year. That's pretty significant number, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then and that for children, especially teens, it's even more. 25.1% of children between the ages of 13 and 18. And the thing is that most of these antidepressant drugs are not to be used by children.
Mm-hmm.
And they even go through and they'll list all that information too. Some recommend that no children under the age of maturity be subject to these antidepressants. Because there's a lot of risks involved in it.
Well, doesn't it, it obviously is doing something to the brain, but if the brain's not fully developed, just like, for example, let's use creatine. When we were in high school and college, like creatine is a big thing, but you didn't want to take too much creatine because your body would stop creating it, correct?
Yes, exactly. That's the same thing that happens with steroids too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if someone takes steroids, especially at a young age,
mm-hmm.
You're thwarting your development. And then what happens is the body shuts down.
Yeah, it doesn't need anymore. So
right.
It stops making
it says, hey, I don't need to make this anymore. It's coming in here. I don't need to make it. So it loses that ability. And that's where the problem occurs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's one thing if you're on something for 6 weeks or a few months. Now you're on something for 6 months, a year, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
What is that doing? What is that doing to a child?
Yeah.
That's developing and developing the mechanisms in order for the body to create the serotonin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, the other thing is that when these young people also, when they do engage in this use of SSRIs, the increased use of narcotics and alcohol is increased in these people as well. So you look at what can we do? Okay, doctors, psychiatrists, psychologists, as well as other associated healthcare providers are compelled to deliver their help. This is what they do. Unfortunately, many are not versed in the benefits of exercise, and in their desire to help, either prescribe the antidepressants or other psychotropic drug, or refer their patients to another healthcare provider that can provide these type of medications. Look, I think that they are trying to do the right thing, but how many of them are versed in the implementation of exercise in order to release these endorphins? Many of them are not. It's hey, we do this cognitive therapy, which I think honestly the cognitive therapy is really good. I've seen it work. And I've seen it work in conjunction with exercise. Okay. So look, basically, this is their training, and they want to put forth what they know best. So you know what the thing is that they say a pound of an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So we're going to get into that. So we're going to focus on some of these alternatives, but let's talk about the SSRIs a little bit. Okay.
Can we pull up? I have the table. Are we at the table yet?
No.
Okay.
It's like, what are SSRIs? What do they do? Who uses them? What are potential side effects? Okay. So SSRIs, the term, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Okay. And it's by blocking or inhibiting reuptake means that more serotonin is available to pass further messages to nearby nerve cells. So basically, what does that mean? It means that it's modulating how much of the serotonin gets put into the system.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what do? What they do is they create a calming effect, and because generally it's peaks and valleys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have spikes and dips, and they want to try to even that out, because what happens is the thoughts race through a person's head during these times, and that's awesome.
Here we got JC making an appearance.
Hey,
today.
JC, baby, what's up? Yeah, she's awesome, isn't she? So, on the low end, people want to harm themselves. They want to, and they feel they get very depressed, and they want to try to pull that up. And then on the higher end, that's where you get like kind of the manic aspects, and they want to try to pull that down. So they're trying to keep a steady state. You know what? I mean, the thing is that life is not steady state. Look at anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's not natural to have a steady state. Look, you have different seasons. The ocean, the waves go in and out, right? Tides come in and out. Waves go up and down. The wind blows, it doesn't blow. Things grow, things die. That's not the natural order of things.
Yeah.
You can't just be steady state hovering. So this is an unsustainable state. So then we get onto, well, that's the goal, to try to even people out. Which in a short term, if they're at that point, I guess you have to do something. But we're going to try to get people before that point. Okay. And you look at like who's taking them, right? People of all ages. Check this out: 23% of women in their 40s and 50s take antidepressants. 23%.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. And they have a higher percentage than any other group by age or sex. The rate of antidepressant use in this country among teens and adults, people ages 12 and older, increased by almost 400% between 88 and 94. And between 1994 and 2005 and 2008. So from 1988 to 1994, that time period, then they took a snapshot of 2005, 2008. They increased 400%.
So I already know what you're going to say, and I already know the answer, but just, for the show, do you think this has to do with, participation awards and stuff? We can't handle losing. We're not used to losing. So when we have something that knocks us down, we don't know how to handle it, and we think we're depressed, and now we need some antidepressants.
There's whenever you have a situation, there's never just more than one contributing factor. There's generally multiple contributing factors. So one contributing factor that we have here is the inability for people to handle loss, depression, losing, not being the best. This ties into the participation trophies. It ties into the helicopter and even snowplow parents. Okay. For those who don't know, a helicopter parent hovers over the kid, makes sure nothing happens to them. A snowplow parent is the kind that plows everything away. So God forbid their child should, trip on a blade of grass or something. Then you kind of have me where I'm just like, all right, get up. But outside, I love my kids more than anything, but you know what?
That's how they learn, and then they have to deal with it. And that's what my question is. If you have the snowplow parent, you have the helicopter parent, the kid doesn't deal with anything, then they get an F on a test, or they don't go to the college they want to. Now all of a sudden they don't know how to handle losing, and now they're depressed.
Exactly. And the thing is that people have to this is one of the things that I really love about the way most martial arts places used to be,
Mm-hmm.
where you have successes, failures, you work toward a goal and work and work and work.
Yeah.
And sometimes you fail. Well, guess what? Change your plan. Don't quit. You know, don't, oh, it's all so bad. You know what? Hey, man, you got to get up.
Yeah.
You got to get up. You know, I told my daughter, man, she playing basketball the other night. And actually, they're in the playoffs now. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Hey, you know, and she's getting better and better. I'm not easy on her. I'm like, hey, listen, you know, she tripped and fell. You know, just working hard, going for the ball. She's super aggressive. and she scraped up her knee and, you know, all right, get up, play the rest of the game. You know, she's fine. Play, you know, so put a Band-Aid on after. You're okay. You're going to live. You know, these are the things that we're unfortunately, as a society, not impressing upon our children about being able to fail, being able to handle failure. You know, not everyone's the best. This is how you find out what you're good at. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
or at least put the time in to become good at it.
yes.
And just happens overnight.
Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. So, what are some of these other downsides of these SSRIs? So we can pull that chart up now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, the psychiatric side effects of SSRIs shown to cause mania, hypomania, elevated mood, depression, aggravation or depression, crying, irritability, anger, hypersensitivity, agitation. Some of these things, I don't even know what they are. Okay. And just to let everyone know that everything that I have up here is referenced. I have the references either through periodicals, peer-reviewed journals. So everything is referenced, and if anybody wants them, they can always hit me up and ask me, and I'll send them my list of references, and they can go and review any of the information that containing herein. How'd that come off? Good.
No, it looks good. I don't know how well people can read this, but if you would like a copy of this, you can definitely reach out to Master Phil. So take a look at that. I'm going to take it down because I don't know how well
it's coming out. That's fine. So, you know, and here's something that's extremely, extremely disturbing. No, like.
And if you say it's extremely disturbing,
it's bad. And you know, when I first discovered this, I'm like, what's going on? How come the whole world's not talking about this? Okay. Virtually every, listen to me. Virtually every, not just talking to everyone.
Right.
Virtually every single mass shooting in this country, the shooter was either on SSRIs or coming off of them.
Like they didn't have them, they didn't have any more, and they were on withdrawal or something.
Or maybe they decide I'm not doing it anymore. Gotcha. Okay, because you have to come off these things properly.
Yeah, you can't just cold turkey it, right?
Yeah, no. It's and over 90% of all the other violence, I'm talking about stabbings, violence and senseless violence in school. Over 90% of them are linked directly to the psychotropic drugs. Hey guys, and this is from the Commission on Human Rights International. Wow. In 2018. Yeah.
So pretty much every violent crime had one way, shape, or form has been because of SSRIs have been involved in some way, shape, or form. That's crazy.
Yeah, in the schools. Now there's the FDA. This is the FDA, guys. Database. 484 drugs were identified to trigger adverse effects in a 5-year study conducted from 2004 to 2009. Okay. Now, 31 of these medications, they were the SSRIs. 31 of these medications were found present in 78.8% of all people that were involved in violence against others. So that's of all these medications, and that's of all violence, not just school violence. This is all violence. So you got like 80%. Okay.
That's crazy.
Now, it would be irresponsible of me to just say, oh yeah, well that proves it. No, but hey, listen, okay, what's the background of the people that did this? What kind of trouble they have? Why were they on SSRIs in the first place? What did they do? So, you have to mention that. You have to be careful with statistics. Because if you see the recent thing on the CDC about, I know it got COVID anyway, it's going to happen. Every conversation has COVID in it. That's why every conversation dies.
Oh man, we're gonna get canceled.
Oh, we're gonna cancel
by
culture.
nobody. Yeah, we're gonna get canceled by ourselves.
Yeah, we're gonna cancel ourselves. So if you gotta have some fun, man.
Yeah.
So if you look at the CDC put out this, they said, oh, it's on the CDC. There was 2 gyms that were referenced. Okay. And they said, oh, got to be careful working out in a gym. Okay. They had a closed class where the instructor had COVID and gave it to people in the room. Yeah, no kidding, Einstein. Okay. Yeah, really? But now look at another one, but people don't want to look at the other study. And it was 2 gyms. So that's completely irresponsible. Well, 37% of the people got sick. Yeah, well, yeah, no kidding.
Well, and the thing too, if I remember, for a long time there were no cases in gyms.
Yeah, okay. Well,
so then there's finally one case in a gym when everyone's like leeching onto it.
but they locked it in, and the guy who was sick. Why are you sick with COVID teaching a class?
No, my point is, there was the longest time, especially with the Attilis, whatever the Attilis gym,
they got nothing
for the longest time, and then one gym gets it, whatever, and now it's like they're leeching onto that one gym.
Right,
like,
exactly.
How about the other millions of people?
Well, but there's also another study that nobody talks about that's on. It's on the CDC. You got to look for it though.
Okay.
There was they did a study with 485 gyms over a 6-month period from April through October. 485 gyms, 7 million visits. How many? What was the percentage of transmission?
2%.
Nope.
0.0023%.
Okay. All right. Guys, look it up. I posted it on Facebook about 2 months ago, whatever it was. And it didn't get taken down. It was amazing.
Wow.
One of my posts didn't get taken down.
Oh, man.
So now let's roll back to the SSRIs. So the SSRIs, especially for those under the age of 18, may have effects on the body's ability to produce and modulate serotonin on its own, like we discussed. This leads to physical dependency. Look, there are people that we all know in their 40s, 50s, 60s. Guess what? They're dependent upon SSRIs. They can't get off of them. All right. Now, let's throw. If you can pull this screen up here, it's pretty.
What slide is it? Do you know?
It's COVID's mental stress.
Is there a number?
Oh, I don't know the numbers.
COVID mental. I got it.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Hope you guys can read this.
Yeah. So, COVID's mental stress. So what you do is you take this situation and dump COVID into it, right? And the results have been nothing short of devastating. So basically, we have another pandemic on our hands. So if you look at it, in January to June of 2019, 11% of people in the U.S. Expressed anxiety or depression, right? December 2020, 42%. I mean, just about everybody has had something at some point. I'm sure everyone has had some form of depression or anxiety during this point in time. So it's kind of bad. And like, it sounds very bleak, right? So what are the alternatives? What can we do? What can we do? So here's the thing, guys. To take control of yourself physically and mentally, and use exercise and proper nutrition as a method of treating anxiety and depression. There are also, there's also supplementation, things like that. I'm not going to get too much into that. But I do want to discuss exercise and the nutrition aspect. And if you look at it, I hate to harken back to COVID, but if you're in shape and you're eating properly, have your correct vitamins and supplements, guess what? You're probably gonna do pretty well.
Yeah.
You're gonna avoid most of the issues. So, the Greeks had a saying, mens sana in corpore sano. What does that mean?
I don't know.
I'll tell you. It's a sound mind and a sound body. So, these words were by the pre-Socratic Greek philosopher Thales, just for your edification, 624 to 546 BC. So, these words have even more meaning now than back then. So, if you look at it, we have a population, our society, 80% of the adult population fails to meet the minimum recommended amount of daily exercise. Okay.
Mhm.
80%. Okay. I wonder why people are depressed. And then over 70% of the people are overweight and over 42% are clinically obese. That's just the physical aspects. Okay.
Mhm.
How are we allowing this? And you know, the trend, it's trending worse. It's trending worse because if you look at, you know, a full 25% of people in the ages of 17 to 24
Mhm.
are too unfit to even pass a physical to get into the Army.
And I don't know how you feel about these physicals in the first place,
Yeah.
or these
They're a
tests.
joke. They're a joke. So, you know, what can be done? I know I brought this up before, but you know the old adage, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So say, well, you know, how's it helping us in this instance? Okay.
Mhm.
You know, one of the things that we can do is set the tone for your life with proper exercise and nutrition. You know, set the tone for your life by eating right and exercising.
Mhm.
You know, the funny thing is we spend a lot of time doing a lot of stuff
Mhm.
that doesn't help us. All right.
Yep. Not at all.
Right.
Not at all.
You have one body. There's no body doubles. You're not exchanging it
Not
after
yet.
30 years. Not
Not
yet.
yet.
We were a couple of weeks before we developed that. An AI body. So, you know, you have one body.
Mhm.
Take care of it. You're born with this. It is the thing that just propels you. It supports you, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you have a mind. You have a mind with a free will. Utilize that free will.
Depends where you are.
All right. Depends where you are. Right? Well, you know what? Oh, well, here's something. Let me just roll back a little bit to the SSRIs a little bit. Let me ask you, how often do you hear this on the news or people talking to it?
Mhm.
Do you?
The SSRI stuff? Not at all.
Yeah.
Because you know,
why is that?
we got a lot of controlling beings controlling the news outlets that we listen to.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you something. The only talk show host that I heard mention it more than once and got in depth on it was Michael Savage, Savage Nation. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But he's been labeled as a pariah anyway. You know, the mainstream media will not let him on. And then you know what? Laura Ingraham brought it up once when she first got on Fox.
Mm-hmm.
She brought it up in one segment, and yeah, life's not a dress rehearsal. You got it, buddy. She brought it up in one segment and never brought it up again.
I wonder
why is that? Why is it? Why? Okay, here. We know that no matter what you say, marijuana, I'm not saying you, I'm saying you collectively, a number of people say marijuana is bad for you. Okay. Now, would I rather see someone taking a marijuana extract, cannabis extract, as opposed to an opioid for pain? 100% yes. But that doesn't mean it's good for you. It's just not as bad.
Okay.
Right. But now marijuana
can we go? Yeah, go into that a little bit because like, maybe even more. So like there's things that I've heard that there's like these foreign foods that won't even be allowed to be sold in America because they do things that pharmaceutical drugs can do. Like they're like these foreign foods. Like I've heard like mushrooms, those psychedelic mushrooms, like reset the brain. And like there's stuff that like if you're like an addict, you can take these psychedelic mushrooms and it like resets the brain and you're no longer like addicted to whatever.
I mean, look, I've heard about some of these things, but I've not delved into it. And I don't want to go and espouse on something or
well, I'm not asking you to go deep into that.
I don't know
my point is that there are things that potentially can do good, but we don't let them into the country because the pharmaceutical companies have a grip and that's why we don't talk about them.
There's also something else you can do good called vitamin D. Okay. Everyone that died from COVID has a lack of vitamin D.
No,
virtually.
I get what you're saying. But my point is the reason why it's not in the news, the reason why we don't hear about other things is because, and we don't hear about SSRIs on the news is because like there's people in power that.
Oh yeah. Well, here also look at this. If you have people on SSRIs
Mhm.
and you're calming them, right, dulling the senses,
Mhm.
because like I know people have been on it. I lived with someone that was on them, and they're like almost like zombies.
Mhm.
Okay, and then so you have that, and then you're gonna have to bring her around here. No, you have to bring her around. Yeah, and
Lulu's here, everyone. Lulu's making her appearance.
So where we at?
We're at with Lulu.
Yeah, okay.
We got a commercial break.
Commercial break on Lulu, Bodybuild Method. So we have the situation where the drugs
Mhm.
are being implemented. Okay, so you have people that have a very calm attitude, right? They're not going to get upset or too depressed or whatever. They're in a euphoric state, basically, produced chemically.
Mhm.
And now we're just allowing marijuana to be used. What does that do? Also, chills you out.
Mhm.
Makes you, hey, man,
Yeah,
everything's all good,
everything's
right?
good.
Everything's good. Everything's good. So if you look at all these things that the government is basically promoting,
Mhm.
it's to keep us complacent,
Yes.
keep the senses dulled. Here, I don't want to get super political right now, but
Too late.
Too late. It already happened. So, but okay, if you look at the situation with Cuomo, okay, now what he did is it gross, disgusting, so forth. Yeah, I mean, but he deserves to stay in court.
Mhm.
I'm all about that, but everybody's focusing on that instead of the thousands and thousands of people he condemned to death into the nursing homes. Now, whether that was done purposefully or because he's stupid, it could be both with him. But instead of focusing on that cover up, everyone's worried about the sex sells aspect, about him, hitting on young girls, 1/3 his age and so forth. Look, again, do I think that it's right and proper? No, but he's single. He's free to date whoever he wants, but I mean, I don't think he should be using the governor's office for that. So,
could it be a distraction to take our eyes off
off of the big picture?
Yeah.
Now, so that brings us back to this too. That's why they inundate us with sports and so forth. So we really don't know what's going on, and they keep throwing up these crazy things at us because we're not paying attention to the drugs being pushed on our children, these attitudes of this pervasiveness in some aspects, and then this just total like sheltering our children. I mean, that they're not going to be able to handle any adversity. And the problem is when they get faced with their first adversity, then they fall apart, and then the parents don't know what to do, so that they go to see a doctor. The shrink tells them to put them on this medication, and then that medication doesn't work, so then they put them on more. They double the dose. They do this, and then all of a sudden you have a child that's mind is just hooked on these things. This is what I'm trying to stop. Okay. The difficult thing is that there's two difficult aspects, two big hurdles we're facing here. Well, of course, there's several with the government intervention, all that kind of stuff, and being pushed by being promoted by educators and by healthcare professionals. The use of exercise, implementation of exercise, opposed to psychotropic drugs. But I'm talking people as far as taking care of themselves. The best thing to do, you just unhook her. Yeah, just unhook her.
Oh,
yeah, unhook her quick. Do you know how to do it? Okay.
This episode is brought to you by Lulu.
This episode is disrupted by Lulu. Okay.
Uh-oh, now she's free range.
Okay.
God only knows what's going to happen now.
All right. So now we have the situation where I'm talking about getting to this prior to involving these professionals. What can people do for themselves? The thing is that the first rub is this, is that we have a situation where people they're depressed.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get them motivated if they're depressed and anxious, motivated to work out? That is a very difficult thing to do. So the best suggestion would be, as soon as you possibly can, get healthy. Start doing your push-ups, start doing your sit-ups, get involved in activity, be physically active, eat properly. You can avoid a lot of these situations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Like I said, every morning I get up, I do my push-ups, my sit-ups, my plank squats, bridges, bang, bang, bang. Do them every morning. Did them this morning. Okay. Here, if you look at this thing here, now this was from the Harvard Medical School. What you eat, this is important. What you eat directly affects the structure and function of your brain and ultimately your mood. So, you want to eat good stuff. You want to eat whole foods as much as possible. Diets and raw vegetables, fruits, nuts, almonds, stuff like that, natural grains, seeds, berries, lean meats, poultry, fish, not fried or overly breaded. Okay? Use spices and seasoning as opposed to battered and saturated foods, fats for cooking. Okay, fats, foots. You don't want to eat too many feet. But and you know what? There's a lot of really good guidelines at myplate.gov. So that's a good website to go to. Choose myplate.gov or just myplate.gov, or if you just Google my plate, choose my plate. So it's a good way to start. And then you talk. Well, you know how many people talk about how much carbs you should eat, how much protein you should eat, how many grains, stuff like that. You know what? I brought this up before. Eat like a bear. Okay. Because if you look at the gut design of a bear, it's very similar to ours. So you want to eat like a bear. You have some dairy. Proteins maybe 20-25% of the plate. If you're an athlete, you want to be 25. If you're not working out super hard, if you're not a big athlete, 20 is enough. Grains, fruits, eat a lot of vegetables. Eat a lot of vegetables, and the fresh vegetables are the best. And look, if you can't always get fresh vegetables, you know what works great too? Those steam in a pack. They lock a lot of nutrients in. So and here's more of the food groups here. They're all breaking down here. You got to mix it up, and again, as whole food as possible. Okay. So listen, the human body needs certain amounts of micro and macronutrients, and, in order for it to operate efficiently, without the proper amounts of these fuels, the body will not operate properly and be subject. This is important, guys. It will be subject to disease and be immune deficient. Healthy whole foods reduce stress, and we're talking physical and mental stress. So you want to know that excess consumption of red meats, nitrates, processed sugars and flours, saturated fats, they lead to inflammation of the body and compromise the immune system. What are you doing? A pit bull's humping your leg? Let it finish. So,
at least it's not me this time.
I know. She's
over me. We broke up.
We broke up.
Okay.
Well, she
One and
wants
done.
a break. She wants a break. She wants to explore.
Yeah.
Okay.
See other people.
And here, as a side note that many people don't understand, that sugar has been deemed by many studies to be both more addictive than illegal narcotics and also increases the propensity of drug addiction. Sugar increases the propensity for drug addiction.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The thing is also, and what it does, it leads to leads to craving it, because it triggers chemicals in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So here, notice if you have a couple of drinks one night, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you craving in the morning?
couple drinks the night before. You probably need water. You're dehydrated.
Yeah, but
At
what do
least.
you want to eat? What is your body craving?
Juicy burger.
You generally what the body is craving is carbs. That's
Okay.
why like pizza, beer, things like that. It's craving carbs. It wants more carbs because you triggered that in your brain.
Gotcha.
So now it's craving it. It's going toward that. So is it okay to indulge in fun foods like pizza, cheeseburgers? Sure. But I'll tell you what, I use it as a reward, not a cheat. People say, "Oh, I have my cheat day today." Hey, you want to cheat? Cheat's a negative connotation. I look at it as this. That's my reward. I did good.
Yeah.
I done good. Mick. So you know what?
Treat yourself.
Yes.
Oh, hey.
Ooh, there you go. The B-roll kicking in with the B-roll.
Yeah.
So yeah, hey, you know what? Go there. Reward. You earned it. Have some fun. And now you say, well, okay, yeah, great. Does exercise really work? Yes. Okay. The opioid system is positively affected. Now, the opioid system is what triggers. It's the chemicals in your body. Okay, that trigger euphoric feelings. It's affected by vigorous exercise as well as meditation. Okay, the endorphin hypothesis that the mood elevations and reduced anxiety following acute exercise is due to the release and binding of the B endorphins. Those are the endogenous opioids to the receptor sites in the brain. All the stuff is documented, guys. I didn't conduct the studies myself, but I have experienced it on an empirical level. And here you guys talk about like the runner's high. Runners feel exalted after working out, or how does it feel after you finish a killer workout? I mean, it might suck while you're doing it. It might be hard getting going, but gosh, when you do it, when you're done, you feel great. So an active lifestyle has always been deemed a way to achieve optimal health. So you look at it, right? And the cool thing is that people are starting to look at it like in the past 25 years, exercise has been elevated to the status of medicine, both as a treatment and a method of prevention. Just think about it. Look, move, okay? And, there's been remarkable results over the past 3 decades depicting the cognitive health and well-being directly related to all age groups, okay? Like children, adults, seniors, everyone. Exercise, is effective in mood control, and it's as effective, even more effective than prescribed drugs without the negative side effects. You have positive side effects. You're getting in shape. You feel stronger, right? And look, and it makes you feel good about yourself too. Right? So, studies were conducted with mental health patients comparing physical activity to those who are sedentary and using antidepressants. Okay. It was determined that those engaged in physical activity had a higher quality of life. Higher quality of life, higher level of physical and mental health, as well as reduced psychological stress. And again, these are documented studies. Hey, Lou, settle down. Okay. So humans are made to move. That's simple and to the point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to make it quiet. Lulu, quiet.
This episode is brought to you by Lulu Industries.
So humans are not Lulu. Down.
We want to remind you guys we are live, so if you want to ask a question in the comments section, make this interactive. We'll answer it live for you today.
So humans are meant to move. That's simple to the point. We are meant to move. We're not meant to sit and be receptors in front of a screen for hours upon hours. You can't just sit there and just be a receptor. Humans need to move and subject their bodies to eustress. Many people don't even know what eustress is. They talk about stress. Not all stress is bad. Eustress is good stress. Eustress just by the word EU, like euphoric, that's good. So the eustress, what that does is that releases the endorphins and also stimulates the growth of muscle cells. Also, what people don't realize too, when you're constantly calling for, when the body's calling for oxygen and blood, what you do is you develop more capillaries in your system, therefore increase your ability for blood flow. So I say, well, what to do and how to get started. Every journey starts with the first step. So don't get overwhelmed with this daunting task. Rome was not built in a day. Right? It's going to take time, proper planning, and goal setting. So one of the best things to use, guys, is a thing called SMART goals, and then implement smarter ones. Okay. So let's talk about SMART goals. I know we actually did a whole segment on SMART goals before, right?
Yep.
So they're specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So I'm going to go over them, but I'm not going to delve into them to the depth that we did in the other podcast. You can go and reference it in our archives. Okay. So now you have to look at, you want to be specific. So let's give an example of specific. People say, I want to lose weight. Guess what? You're deemed for failure. How much you want to lose? You want to lose 20 pounds. Okay. Okay. Is that measurable? Yeah. Step on a scale. I look at it, I'm one weight. I want to be 20 pounds less than that. Is it attainable? Yeah. Okay. It's attainable. If it's not attainable, if you're not overweight and you want to lose 20 pounds, then that's not such a great thing to do. If I said, well, I want to be in the NBA, that's not attainable. Okay. It's never going to happen. Okay. So it's a fruitless goal to try to attempt to achieve. So it's got to be relevant. Okay. It's got to be a relevant goal, relevant to your life, relevant to your career, relevant to your family. It has to be time-based. Give yourself time. Give yourself an exact amount of time, whether it's 3 months, 2 months. Now here, you may have a goal of losing 20 pounds, but then you just kind of made it unattainable by saying, I want to do it in a week. So you have to make sure that all of these goals earn up to the word SMART. And then, once you've either achieved it or not achieved it, you have to evaluate and readjust. So let's say I didn't make it. I lost 15 pounds. Well, you know what? Okay. I have to lose 5 more pounds. I have to readjust maybe my time, maybe my strategy in order to get it. Or, I lost the 20 pounds. Well, you know what? Now I want to put on some muscle. So that may be a new goal. So then I go and I achieve it that way. So, the thing is that if you're a beginner, you want to get started. If someone wants to be a marathon runner, they don't go and try to run 26 miles in the first day, right? Your goal is to meet the minimum amount of recommended daily exercise. So, the AHA, that's the American Heart Association, recommends that we get adults 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic exercise 2 days a week, 150 of moderate aerobic exercise and 2 days a week of strength training. It used to just be the 150, but now they of aerobic, but then they realize, hey, the strength training component is incredibly important for a variety of reasons. But and then youths, it's the same as adults, except they want you doing 3 days. Why do you think that is?
3 days more than an adult?
No, adults, 2 days of strength training. Children, they want them doing 3.
Oh, they recover faster. They get more energy.
Well, another thing is also because of development. Because when you're younger, what you do when you're younger carries through. So if my body, at a young age, when my body's developing and I'm creating the strength and creating that good base, that platform, it's going to be easier for me to maintain that later on in life. So this is when you want to really enforce that strength training, those building blocks when children are young. And move it up. I mean, not saying you have, your 5-year-old doing bench presses, but I'm talking about, when they're, the 7, 8, 9, when you push-ups, sit-ups, do the workout I do. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They should be outside playing tag.
Exactly. Another thing that brings us other thing, get outside.
Nice.
Sunshine, fresh air. Okay. That is one of the best things you can do for your head, your heart. Commune with nature. There's this book. It's an awesome book. It's called The Aging Brain, and it discusses how to keep your brain young and nimble into your old age. And one of the things they talk about is communing with nature and how important it is to have that connection with nature. Walking in the woods, seeing birds, squirrels, whatever it is, seeing nature, seeing animals, feeling the dirt, the grass. Those are such good things for your head and your heart and your body.
Mm-hmm.
So move around. Appreciate the environment. Move, walk, climb, run, get out there. I take Lula for walks anywhere from 2 to 4 miles a day, sometimes more. And I'll even go. And a lot of times I'll just take myself and go hike up in the mountains.
Nice.
I mean, it's good. So it leads us to another thing. Say, well, you know what? I don't have the time to do. I can't do 30 minutes in a row right now. I'm too exhausted. I'll do 10 minutes and I'm done. It's okay. Use exercise snacks. Okay. So the thing I call exercise snacks. So if your goal is to get 30 minutes in a day,
mm-hmm.
do 3 10-minute sessions or 2 15-minute sessions. Set the alarm clock a little earlier. Get 10 minutes in. And a lunch break, go for a walk. And when you come home, go for a walk. Don't just come home, plots on your behind, crack a beer, and throw Netflix on and think you're going to get healthy. It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you say, well, what do you do? So, you can do your planks, squats, sit-ups. Not everybody can do push-ups right away, even though, if you do them elevated, you can
mm-hmm.
do those. But you know what? Do them several times during the day. Like I told you, like everybody knows, I do 50 squats, 50 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 10 bridges and neck exercise every morning. Okay. I get up, I do it. Okay. I just do it. And another thing that people have to understand is this: it doesn't happen overnight. In order to exact a change, there's this false narrative out there that says, 3 weeks going to exact change. It's not 3 weeks. It's not 3 weeks. Okay. Maybe you can get a bad habit in 3 weeks, but in order to form a good habit to exact any type of change takes 3 months or 90 days. That's always been the axiom when people are working out. It takes X amount, like 100 workouts to see a difference. So, it's going to take you 3 months. Know that. And know that it's not going to be fun. Okay. In the beginning. So
mm-hmm.
just get your head set for that. Is it impossible? No. People do it all the time. Is it easy? No, because people fail at it all the time too. So make sure that you stay consistent, because that's going to be the key. And keep your eye on the prize. Don't get deterred. When I was bodybuilding, I went from 202 down to 172 because I just got completely ripped to go into competition. And I will tell you, it sucked. And I'll never do that again. But you know what? I tricked myself. And how I did it was every time I had a Jones in for like a bag of potato chips or something like that, I said, I'll do it next time. And I just drop to the floor and hit some sit-ups. Okay. So, trick yourself. And then eventually you'll earn that reward, later on. But you got to keep like I said, you got to keep your eye on the prize and be consistent. Okay. And here's a key. And actually, something I did, I didn't really think about it much. And then one of my training contemporaries guy, he's also in the kettlebell. We met he's also in the kettlebell organization. He's a incredible fitness guru. He lives in Colorado right now. Very good friend of mine, Angelo Gala. And he said, you know what? I want to breathe hard every day. And that's a great thing to say. Breathe hard every day. If you breathe hard every day, that means you're exerting yourself. That means you're releasing the endorphins. That means that you're getting your blood going. That means that you're putting eustress on your body. So you're going to reap all those benefits if you breathe hard every day. And people, you don't have to take things to the level that I do. I mean, I do it because I like doing it. It's my job. It's my vocation. But you know what? You have to do something. Okay. So choose a workout program and a system, and when you're choosing a system, you want to make sure that you're going to address the 5 components of fitness. Okay. You have muscular strength. You have muscular endurance, cardiovascular endurance. I put flexibility and mobility together, and body composition. So if you're looking at muscular strength, that's kind of easy. That's pretty strong, right? It's like, 1 RM, 1 rep max. That's, how strong that muscle is, how much it can push or pull. Muscular endurance is how long you can do this for. How long can you do? Can you do a lot of push-ups, sit-ups, whatever? Cardiovascular endurance has to do with your heart rate. Can you do sustained exercise for a long amount of time? Flexibility and mobility. Flexibility is the range of motion, and that has to do with mobility as well. Can you go through this full range of motion? Do you have enough flexibility to reduce the incidence of injury? Do you have enough mobility to maximize your strength? Look, if you're not mobile and you only have a short, limited range of motion, can you have full strength of that limb? Probably not. People come in, oh gosh, I can't squat. Well, do you sit on the toilet? Well, guess what? You're squatting. All right. So most people can do it. All right. They just don't know how to do it right. And then a body composition. Body composition is your muscle to fat ratio, your lean fat. So a complete program has to address all of those components. So, and we talk about, if you want to talk about modalities of strength, right? So you have push, both upper and lower. You have pull, both upper and lower. You have a hip hinge, you have rotational, and then you have a carry and single leg work. So your program wants to have all these different components in here, because you're going to address all aspects of strength and movement. Okay. So, there's different types of training. When you talk about proclivities, people are going to have certain proclivities toward certain modalities of training. So, strength and power. Well, if if you like strength and power, then you're going to focus more on that. But it doesn't mean you should negate the other ones. But you're going to have more of the focus on strength and power. Then some people like the cardiovascular endurance more, right? Some people are into mobility and flexibility. So, maybe a strength and power person, they like powerlifting. Right? Cardiovascular, maybe they like running. Mobility and flexibility, maybe they like yoga. Movement-based, maybe they like Zumba. And then some people like unstructured or play, like, I play pickup basketball 3 times a week. Okay. Look, it's all well and good, but still you don't want to ignore the other aspects. If you're a power lifter, well, maybe you should be skipping rope. If you're doing yoga, maybe you should be doing some kettlebells too, get a little strength. So you want to make sure that your workout regimen is balanced. So you want to use your body to help influence your mind, and your mind to help influence your body. So, it's a mind and body reformation, I call it. So ultimately, the state of mental and physical health are 100% up to you and your level of commitment. Like if you're doing this, if you're adhering to a regimen, you have the discipline to do it consistently, that's going to help you dramatically. And the cool thing is that, guess what? Guess who's in control of that? You are in control of that.
Absolutely.
Just remember the difference between a champ and a chump. It's the you. So,
yes.
And the cool thing is that this doesn't take any special ability. Everybody has it. Everybody has this ability. You have the ability to set your alarm clock 10 minutes early and get up and do some push-ups and sit-ups, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, if you look at what John Locke said, a sound mind and a sound body is a short but full description of a happy state in this world. Think of that. So if you can achieve this, I think life would be a lot better.
Oh yeah.
You know? So like I say, is that, don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. Seize the opportunity. Every one of us, every single one of us has the ability to do this. You have the power. Use it. And that's it in a nutshell, man.
Nice.
Like you can do this. And the things that people have to realize that they have the ability and not to be intimidated by getting involved and finding something that they like to do. Bearing that in mind, we have the Bodybuild Method.
Yeah. Yeah. Which you're going to move using your body, a couple kettlebells and a bow staff, correct?
Yeah. I mean, there's very little equipment. It's a minimalist approach to health and fitness. And you know what? You don't understand how many people in my class come up to me. I mean, after class, like, God, this is great. Oh my God, that's awesome, right? It was pretty cool because I had an incident happen the other day. This gentleman and his wife came into the studio. They called me up about coming down, and I'm like, "Oh, so where'd you find us? Google, Facebook, whatever?" He goes, "No, Peter Luger's." I'll give me a shout out to Peter Luger's restaurant. And there's one of the other waiters around my age, like maybe a little over 60, and he's like incredible shape. And the guy said, "Well, what do you do?" He goes, "I follow this guy, Master Phil." And he goes, "You live where?" And so the guy lives like 2 towns away from my studio.
Nice.
So I said, "Oh, you got to go by Master Phil." So the guy and his wife came down the other day.
Nice.
So you don't know who you're influencing either, which is a cool thing, And again, I said this. I know what my calling is. My calling is to help people make their lives better. I'm more of a hammer on that, though. That's my style. Yep. But that is my ultimate goal, is to help people live better lives. And if we can put forth this notion of being independent, being strong, thinking with a clear head, how much better do you feel about that? I mean, when you can do certain things, and look, and it's cool to have dreams about being stronger and stuff. I mean, heck, it goes back to the shirt my son got.
Yeah, it's a nice shirt.
It's cool. I'm trained to fight the mountain.
Nice.
So I mean, he's a big dude. You gotta train hard.
Yeah.
So, it's something that we all have control over, and we all need to embrace. And that's one of the things that I'm putting forth. I'm not trying. I'm doing it. That's why I'm doing Ubiquifit, which is that's going right now. Going pretty good. We got the app's working remarkably well right now, and we're finishing forging all these relationships with Apple, and then we're doing stuff with Google and so forth. And also our Health is Wealth. That's this website, this huge database, so that people can become their own reference. They want to, if you're looking for a dentist, you're looking for a chiropractor, you're looking for a doctor, you're looking for a fitness expert, you're looking for acupuncturist. What do? You go on to Google or Bing or DuckDuckGo, or you ask your neighbor or whatever it is, right? And you have to rely on the data that you're able to get that way. With this new website, what you're doing is when you go on it, you can interview these doctors. You can have chats with the doctors. You can have chats with the acupuncturists. So you can make your own assessments. So you become your own reference by leveraging the information here on the site. And there's also going to be a vendor section for products as well, and you can do the same thing there. You can ask about the different products that are represented. And of course, that I'm involved in the SAS group. Yeah. What am I trying to do? Trying to make people's lives better. If I can put forth the Leo less than lethal training methodology that's going to help the police officers, and it's going to help the general public by having a better trained police force. And, I'm at the college trying to spread the word of health and wellness to all the students there, plus all the publications that I've been putting out. This is what, this is what's going to help propel people forward. This type of thinking, these type of actions. And that's my goal.
Nice. And just to remind everybody, when is the next Bodybuild Method seminar?
Next Bodybuild Method seminar for level 2 elite level instructor will be on May 2nd. Sign up early, and it's only $299. Okay.
Nice.
And you can get your continuing education credits, even though it's only registered with ACE. But if anyone needs documentation to forward to their particular agency, they get a PDF of the manual, and it's been accepted by all of them. So they'll get credit. And the other thing is that, if you want to get more credits, sign up for the level 1. You could do that. You get that done. I got a guy just joined the level 1 because he joined the level 2. So he just signed up for the level 1 so he can qualify for the level 2 because he's not RKC or SFG certified. So he wanted to get that. Yeah.
Nice. Good stuff.
Yeah, we got some stuff happening.
Yeah,
a
lot of good stuff. And hopefully you guys were taking notes so you can, have more mental health and physical well-being.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, this wraps up our session here.
Yeah, buddy.
All right. And this is Master Phil from Master Phil in your corner. Strength and honor.